We are live.
Oh my goodness. I can't. Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're doing the thing.
We're really doing it. I can't believe it.
I feel like this has been such a long time coming, though. We've been yapping about it every day for endless weeks.
But like it really hasn't been that long,
Yeah,
which
but
is crazy because
it
it
feels
feels
like a
like
lifetime.
we were just freaking out before we got on here.
We're very nervous because while we act like we talk for a living, we don't.
I
We're
definitely
very
had to
good at
take
talking.
a big deep breath.
All right.
Uh,
Welcome to In the Box Office. Do you want to
Welcome,
tell them a little
guys.
bit about us?
Yeah, so purpose of today's episode really is just to kind of get to know each of us as hosts, kind of what to expect when you watch our episodes, and obviously it's going to grow as we go on, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But we just saw a really big void in the space when we were in WFP, and decided that we needed to talk about more than just the sport. And that's kind of our tagline and how we came up with it. We love the athletes and love the sport, but there's so much more that goes on when it comes to the community and outside of the sport. And we just kind of want to highlight that and get to know more than just the athletes as well. And just super excited to have a female voice, because we also saw that was lacking as well.
Yeah, when we were in the external media room, it was pretty much like 40 men and me and Cait, which was pretty funny. Maybe there's a few other women in there, but I think when we talk about the void in the sport, there is great broadcasting. Obviously, there's great like breaking down of statistics and athletes' performances, but when we think about functional fitness and that world, it's like the conversations we have on a daily basis. Like, did you see this friendship? Did you see this feud? Did you see this relationship? How is this lifestyle factor contributing to their performance? And the things that we just like to text and talk about every single day that I don't think is being chatted about in this space as much as it should be, because we all love this stuff.
I definitely think there's a need for it. And one thing we want to do as well is branch out from the people who are, we say, like obsessed with CrossFit, the people that tune in to, the hour and a half, 2 hours to talk about stats. While we all love that and we're in it, there's also such a large population of people that have no idea what the heck even
Yep.
the games are, but they know what's going on in their local affiliates and in their community. So we also want to tailor our message and our show to those people as well. Let me pin this comment. We want to broaden our horizons when it comes to what we talk about here, so everybody can kind of fit in here. No, this is not Brian and PC.
You're right. It's so much better.
If you are looking for them, you're not going to find them here today. We're on our own. I don't know who gave us the keys to the car.
Wild. You could tell immediately by the like pink branding that it's not Brian and PC. That would never fly with them.
So what we really want to do is start off and kind of introduce ourselves, and so you guys get to know us a little bit. And that's also what we hope for, is for you guys to get to know us as individuals as well, and kind of what goes on in our day-to-day life. We have a lot of really cool things going on personally. So I'm going to let Maysa kind of take the reins and talk about herself for a little bit.
Two chicks from Love is Blind. I don't think that would be the reality show we would be on, either of us, but about me. So I am originally from Dubai. I grew up there my whole life. I'm half American, half Lebanese, but I grew up overseas, moved to the States for college. I am a physical therapist by education. I am actually currently in the process of building out a gym that opens in 9 days. So I'm sitting in a room full of boxes and broken down boxes and weights that need to be put away. So I am very excited and very exhausted all at the same time. Let's see. Wait, you know what? I wanted to say some fun facts, but I think you're going to ask me some rapid fire questions. That's our thing. So I'll let you ask them first, and then if you miss something, I'll share it.
Okay, you want me to ask now?
I'm ready.
All right. If you could live anywhere, where would you live?
So I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I love it here. I think it is amazing. So I might pick here, but I do love Nashville. Nashville is one of I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by the comments. Gotta focus. Nashville is one of my favorite places. I did a rotation there when I was in PT school, and I visited a lot, and I think it's just like such a cool culture. No. Yeah,
Maybe it's the
Brian and
background, I
PC
don't know.
forced us to do this. We're here. We hate it. That's the real story.
Hot take, I really don't love Nashville that much.
Why?
I think it's because I live so close, and that's
Fair.
where everybody went on the weekends in college. And like shortly after we graduated, I think it's just kind of overhyped, and it's so packed you can't do anything there, at least on Broadway. But
Yeah,
that's
but
my hot
that's not
take.
like the part of Nashville that I love.
That's fair.
I think that I really like cities that rally around something. Like I'm not even a big country music fan, but the fact that they like have such a big music culture is so cool. Like I went to New Orleans, and
Thing.
I would never live there, but they're so passionate about
Yes.
Mardi Gras and their whole thing that it's so cool. It's cool. And I feel like Charleston's kind of like that. They have like a really cool culture.
Love that. What is your biggest fitness pet peeve?
Oh, there's so many. I would say when people put like lighter weights before heavier weights on a barbell. Like if you have like a 45 and then a 10 and then a 45, I'll die. Like I hate that.
Yep. I feel that one for sure.
Like it's just got to be right and matched.
The small weights on the outsides.
Yes.
Definitely. What is your go-to fake excuse to get out of plans?
I'm pretty honest that I'm just like, yo, I'm not coming. I'm tired. If you know me, you know. But I would say probably like something with my dogs. My dogs threw up. My dog's sick. My dog needs me. Like, what are people going to say?
I am definitely the same. The dogs are the easiest thing. Can't go, don't have a dog sitter. I feel that to my core for sure. What is a hill that you're willing to die on? It could be about anything, not just fitness, anything in general, kind of like a hot take.
Oh, a hill I'm willing to die on. I think so many of the world's problems would be solved if more people went on daily walks.
Oof, I feel that.
That is, I think everyone should walk more. It's just like the least, I feel like, known about form of fitness. Like it's so known about, but people don't do it. Like people just, I'm like, just go for a walk, unplug, get outside. It'll change. Like there's very few things that are going on in life that taking a quick break for a walk won't fix.
Literally getting out in the sun, like sometimes I feel like I'm a lizard. If I get outside, I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for all day.
I'm
for
good
all
now.
year. Okay, last one. What movie or show could you quote front to back that you know by heart?
Oh, this is embarrassing. Gossip Girl for sure.
Yes.
It's like
the
a
best.
comfort show because I watched it, when I was like a teenager
Yep.
or college, and it's like the one you can put on in the background and it always plays. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, that is definitely my comfort show. I've watched it numerous times. I don't know if I could quote it, but it's
I
my
think I
go-to
could.
if I need something to watch.
That or like New Girl, maybe.
That's a good one. I've only watched that one once, but that is a good one. Feel good movie. Feel good for sure. All right, what else do you have to tell us?
I feel like that covered a lot of the bases. I do have 2 dogs and a cat. All are rescues. I'm a big animal person, and I do think that it ties into like I truly believe movement is medicine, and I think pets are one of the best ways to keep you moving because you can't be lazy when you have dogs. I mean, you can, but you have to get up, you have to let them out, you have to do things. It could live off of tacos for the rest of my life. And I would die to be sponsored by Ghost Energy.
Okay, interesting. Do you drink energy drinks?
So many.
Okay.
I drink coffee and energy drinks, and like I just love caffeine. It's a problem. I'm addicted to caffeine for sure.
Same. No water, just energy drinks all the time. All the time.
Yeah. There's some sort of hydration in them, right?
Has to be made with water, I think. What else? Anything else you want to share? You guys are blowing up the chat. I can't even keep up.
I know. I'm trying
You
to like
boys in
focus
there.
on you and the chat. We got to get better at this. But no, well, it'll come out naturally. Tell me about you.
So I currently live in Florida, South Florida, like the Fort Lauderdale-ish, West Palm area. Originally from St. Louis, or like Central Illinois to start, then went down to school in St. Louis, and that's actually where I met. I know him by Patrick. Calling him PC is weird to me. But originally where I met him, I started doing CrossFit 2013. So been in the space for a really long time, and then relocated down to South Florida about a little over 2 years ago now. Worked in an affiliate, still working an affiliate. I'm on at like a new gym now, and where I manage that gym, and just been super cool to get in the space full time. My background is in retail management, and I was there. I worked for Target for a really, really long time, and just didn't love the work-life balance, and wanted to really just take a leap and try this fitness thing. And Patrick Starr. And so now I'm here and I'm really doing it, and I love it. I have 2 dogs. I am obsessed with them. I have a Frenchie that everybody thinks is my favorite, and that's just not true, but he is not camera shy at all. So he gets all the camera time. And let's see what else. I really like to travel. I haven't done much of it lately, but I am going to Europe in a couple weeks. So if anybody here is in Europe and wants to hang out, let me know. But really like to travel and just and see new things. I think that's it. I feel like I had a lot to say about myself, and now that I'm on the spot, I'm like,
I know, me too, but I also think it'll
really not
just
that
come out while
interesting.
we're chatting. Someone asked my
Definitely.
favorite ghost flavor, and I need you to know that all my favorites are limited edition ones that no longer exist. Like the sour stripe one was so good. Also the like electric lime energy one that was like a bolt on it, but they're all gone. They're just momentary ones.
They don't sell those at the gas station that I go to, so I don't ever get them.
There's a like mini mom and pop shop kind of C-store in my neighborhood that has been like in this family for generations, and they started as like a craft beer store, but now they've expanded and they have every kind of energy drink, like all the weird flavors, everything, and it's on my way. So I go there every day.
Love
Shout
that.
out.
Everybody has a favorite gas station that they stop at every single day.
Okay, wait, I have your 5 questions. Oh, my dog's name. Okay. I have one dog named Rogue because he is a gym dog and he grew up in the gym with me. When I got him, I was studying for boards for physical therapy. Like it was over the summer, and I was like thought that was, a good time to get a puppy. Great time, not at all. But I was coaching full time. So he grew up in the gym with me. So his name is Rogue. And then my other dog's name is Edison because I found her outside a restaurant called Edison.
Cute.
Okay, wait. I have to ask you your rapid fire questions.
Yes,
though.
sorry, go ahead.
What is your favorite thing about yourself?
I definitely operate very well in chaos. So no matter what is going on at work or in my personal life, that's kind of where I thrive, even if I'm not thriving. So I guess I would say that I'm resilient, and that has definitely come in handy for sure.
I love that. What is something you're really proud of yourself for?
I think I'm proud of myself for I'm going to say going against the grain, which like on this platform isn't necessarily going against the grain. But like I said, I worked in a very traditional job, secure job, and fitness isn't always that. But I knew in my heart, I really wanted to give it a go. And so I'm really proud of myself for believing in myself and doing something that in my heart, I knew I at least wanted to try. So 40 years down the road, I wasn't like, I really wish I would have done that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so funny because you're right. Like in this world, this is so normal, but from like the people I went to PT school with, they're like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you work in a hospital or a clinic? Okay, what's one thing that most people don't know about you? Like a weird thing or something, like a habit? I don't know.
most people on the internet, like if you have grown up with me, know, but I am adopted. So that's always my fun fact. A lot of people always have questions about that. But really fortunate to have awesome parents, and yeah.
If you could eat one food forever, what would it be?
French fries. Actually, any sort of potato, mashed potatoes, French
Okay, but French
fries.
fries from where? Because that's like specific.
I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I just want a good French fry.
Last question. What is your clean and why is it 245 pounds? I just need to show you off for you a little bit.
One time I cleaned 245, and that is like my show off video, and I have never done it again, but I've never tried. So yeah, I got that in my back pocket sometimes.
I love it. Anything that I missed that you want the people to know?
I don't think so. I'm trying to look through the comments to see. I'm just going to pull this one up. We do have a hot take coming in later in the episode, so you're going to have to wait for that. That's going to be at the end. But today we're just really talking about us and a few fitness type things, but just wanted you guys to kind of see our faces, get to know us, and we'll get into like the nitty gritty in the coming episodes, but we're definitely going to have a few hot takes. So you got to hold on.
And then as far as I know, there's some comments about the name. So I'll give a little background on where In the Box Office came from. I own an online programming business called In the Box Performance Training, IBX, and that's what my gym is going to be called. I originally was In the Box Physical Therapy because I treated I cannot focus on both of these at once. I got to get better. I treated out of CrossFit boxes, and my whole thought was you put the work in the box so that you can enjoy your life outside of the box, because while we do love professional fitness, most of us are here to just have a better quality of life, right? So all the things that happen in the four walls in the box are improving our quality of life outside. And then this is In the Box Office because it's the office version spinoff, which I thought it was really cute. Multiple people are asking about the questions about your adoption.
My parents are actually watching right now, guys. So, or they should be. Sometimes, not that it's a misconception, but my family was able to take me home from the hospital from America. But my parents just couldn't have kids. And so they ended up with me, and we were all very blessed. So no crazy story about that. Just normal adoption story. Hi, hold on. Let me pin this comment really quick. Hi, Cait's mom and dad. Mom and dad, if you're watching, people say hi.
Our number one fans are going to be our parents for sure. I feel like now that we've kind of introed ourselves, we need to tell our love story of how we met.
Buckle in, guys. This is the best love story you'll ever hear.
Yeah, what is this? Love is Blind, right? That's where it's coming from.
You want to start?
Sure. So I like kind of cold DM'd Brian Friend on one of his stories, asking if he was hiring, not really expecting. It's a joke, a love story joke, a best friend love story. It's just a good story. Asking if he was hiring, not really expecting a response, and he asked what I would do, and we kind of got it to talking. And that's a good thing about me. I've always loved writing. I wanted to be an author my whole life. I didn't really want to go to school for creative writing. I just loved doing it. And so this kind of opportunity with Brian Friend and WFP has been really cool because I get to like use my passion for writing in the field that I'm in, which I never really thought I was going to be able to combine those two worlds. They were always very separate in my mind. And I never really thought I would like writing about fitness because I've only ever done kind of like poetry or spoken word stuff. But I ended up going to Wadapalooza because I had an athlete that I treat competing there and wrote recaps and articles for Brian Friend. You were there. We did not run into each other. Brian thought we ran into each other. Everyone thought we knew each other, but we didn't. I had heard you were there. And then continued to do some writing and podcasts for Brian Friend. And he asked me to come run the social media for him for WFP because he was going to be producing the broadcast, so we wouldn't have anyone on the floor. PC was also working for WFP. So I did that, and they were like, you're in a room with 2 girls you've never met before. And Cait was one of them. Do you want to kind of lead into that a little?
Yeah, so I've known Patrick forever, PC. And
Patrick Dempsey, I heard.
Patrick Dempsey, aka. So have gotten some really cool opportunities to help him and Brian, and also had an opportunity to help with WFP, and I helped with the external media side. And I showed up, and PC was like, you're going to be rooming with 2 other girls. And I was like, okay, well, we all love fitness, obviously, so it can't be that bad. And then they picked me up, or I showed up, I guess, at WFP, and we all got in the car together. And then I just started yapping, and Maysa started yapping back. And I was like, you know what? I think this girl's actually kind of cool, and we might have a lot of fun this weekend. And I was like saying some not controversial, but
a little bit controversial.
My favorite game that me and my friends back in St. Louis made up was Hot, Ugly, or Ugly, Hot. Okay. And we would rate CrossFitters on what we thought. And so I just got in the car and I was like, what do you think? Hot, ugly, ugly, hot. And she didn't even like miss a beat. She knew exactly what I was talking about. And I was like, we're definitely going to be friends.
Yeah. And shout out to Rebecca, our third roommate. She
Yes.
was also very cool and hopped on board with the game too. We had a good time.
Yeah. All weekend, like I would be like, what do you think about this? And she'd say exactly what I would say. And I was like, this is about
same. It was like instant connection. I wrote recaps every day at Wadapalooza. I've written some articles since then. And then all the interviews and photo journals from WFP I wrote. So if you were on Instagram at all and saw the photo journals, I kind of got inspiration from Christine, who used to do that at the games. And I thought it was so cool. And she's such a phenomenal writer. I wanted to do something kind of similar with my own spin on it for WFP.
So yeah, throughout the weekend, we just kept bonding, really. You guys, we thought about it, and morally, I just cannot.
This is a behind closed doors game, but just to clarify, it's usually like what characteristics make someone hot, like their appearance or their personality or their laugh or different things. Like it's not as bad as it sounds.
No, it's just all fun and games. So if you guys ever want to have margaritas or something and sit around the table and you have nothing to do, I suggest that game. It's very fun. But yeah, throughout the weekend, we just ended up having a lot of fun. And I think at one point we were like, we should start a podcast. And I was like, we both were like, yeah, sure. And then the next day we're like, no, I think we should really start a podcast. I think we're on to something.
I think we were like sitting at lunch one day and we were kind of chatting about some shared opinions. And I was like, this sounds like a podcast. Like we're just bantering back and forth. And then also, like we said, the external media room was just a lot of men. The first day I went in, I got there a day before Cait, and Gabby Magala was one of the broadcast team, and she was the only girl in there when I walked in. And she was amazing. She was so cool and so talented. But I was like, wow, she's the literal only female in here. This is crazy. We're starting a trend. But yeah, I think that Brian and PC do such a good job of knowing so many statistics. Like I think making the appearance. I think I know a lot about the sport, and they just take it to the next level. And we wanted to kind of bring a little sparkle to that and talk a little bit about some of the more like social media, behind the scenes, all of that stuff. And then while we're here with WFP, for me, Wadapalooza was my first big competition that I had that much access. And then WFP, I had significantly more access than I'd ever had, just from a media standpoint, right? So I've been to a lot of I've been to a lot of big competitions, but never been that close to athletes, that much interaction. And for those that don't know, this is how it went. PC goes, here's a 20-second tutorial of this camera. Now go. Do whatever you want. do your thing. And I'm just a girl who loves functional fitness. And I was very nervous because a lot of these people are obviously like amazing athletes, idols. I understand they're just people, but it was the first time I'd been in that situation. And so I went to some of the activations and talked to people, but my first time doing interviews was at Athlete Check-In. And I was standing there and I was like, who am I going to pick? And Danny Spiegel and Ariel Lowen walk in, and I was like, they'll say yes. They're so cute. And I went up and I had like the funniest interview with them about traveling together. And I was like, okay, I can do this. This was a good icebreaker. So shout out to them for making my very first official interview a lot easier.
Walter really wants to be on the podcast.
I think that we should just have him as our third host. He should have a whole other screen, like just for Walter, zoomed in.
I do want to say, like, it is. I've had a couple of other opportunities to be like backstage at Wadapalooza and even the games, and I still get. I don't want to say starstruck necessarily. Like the magic has worn off a little bit for sure, but like it is kind of nerve-wracking to be around the athletes still, but like we are not in the bubble at all. Like we know obviously a couple people, but like we are not in the know. Like we are
We're on the
regular
outside
people.
looking in.
We're regular girlies. So like anything that we talk about, like it is really just from like what we see on the internet and what everybody else sees. We don't really have inside knowledge or anything. So, and that's another reason why we kind of wanted to make this, is because we do have a different perspective on what the space looks like, and it's not we don't know all the stuff. What do you have to say, Walt?
He's like, why are we here?
He has no idea.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, I wouldn't say it was starstruck, but more so like I have such a big or like a deep respect for the athletes as someone who, does casual functional fitness, I would say, and like competes in local competitions. We understand how crazy it is for them to be at the level they're at. And like, one, I want to always respect their time, space, energy, and not get in the way of them performing the way they do or preparing the way they do, or like, annoying them after a really hard event. I can't imagine finishing some of the events they did, like that Echo sled one at WFP. And I'm like, hey, here's a microphone. Like, let's chat about it. And they were all such good sports and so cool about it. But I always want to make sure that like I'm not bothering anyone, that I understand that their focus is, while media matters, their focus is to be athletes.
Sure.
So that's why check-in was good, because they're not in that zone yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and you had to get people over. You can kind of explain that role.
Yeah, so my job at WFP was essentially to coordinate between the athletes and external media. So if media wanted, let's say Roman Krennikov, as he came off the workout floor, the competition floor, as they came off, if somebody would request an interview, I would have to grab them as they are dying and ask if they were okay with an interview by whoever wanted it, and then I would lead them to the interviewer. So I was just kind of like the coordination between the two at WFP, but I would get to see them. Sometimes it was kind of, they're dying. If you've ever gotten done with an awful workout and sold your soul, the last thing you want to do is talk to anybody, and then you have somebody in your face asking if you're okay with an interview. So that was my job there.
Yeah, this was super funny because he literally basically collapsed right after. You could tell. I mean, that workout was horrible, and it was like carnage on the finish line. And I was like, how are you feeling? And he was like, I'm barely standing up to do this interview. And I was like, all right, go recover, go recover. And then this one also, I want to say, so my athletic background, growing up, I was a long distance runner. I was always really tiny. I ran long distance track, long distance cross country. I played a little bit of soccer, but it was always just to get in shape for running. I was a runner. So my entry into CrossFit is really funny because people think I'm small now. I'm a pretty small person, and I was tiny when I started CrossFit. In college, I played competitive ultimate frisbee, which some people think is really funny, but our team was really good. They made nationals, but I blew out my knee, tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus when I was at sectionals. And then I had only ever played sports or ran, excuse me,
Oh no.
or ran before that, and I didn't know like how to work out. So when I was coming off of my knee, I'm gonna take a second. Tell them your athletic background, and I'll come back.
I have none. I did competitive dance until I was in like a senior in high school, and I did some power tumbling, so not gymnastics, but more floor work. But otherwise, no athletic background. I'm 5'11". If I had $1 for every time anybody asked if I had played volleyball or basketball, I would not need to have a job any longer. Just was never really interested, and then ended up walking into a CrossFit gym when I was 21, I think. And then that was it. And so now that is all I do.
Sorry, I thought I was gonna die there, but I'm back. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really common that people like you are so great at CrossFit, but you had never done something before until you found CrossFit. Which I think it's cool. Like I run a after school program for teen girls called Girls Gone Buff. And a lot of them are just like, sports aren't for me, but then they find weightlifting and they love it because it doesn't have to be overly competitive. And at that age, it can be really hard. But yeah, when I was coming back from my ACL, I started going to the gym because I couldn't play sports when I was recovering. And I had no idea what I was doing, like literally none. I was watching like YouTube videos and I was like, cleans look cool. And I didn't know what I was doing. And one of my good friends at the time was a CrossFit coach. And she was like, you should do this. And I was like, y'all exercise for time. That's so dumb. I'm never doing that. And then I did it and I drank the Kool-Aid hard and I loved it. And so now I do CrossFit, but my background's just running mostly. And then, yes, the one question interviews will be returning. The reason I did those and I really like them is because, like I said, I always want to respect their time. And I think it's really easy to get someone to answer one fun question. And I think when you watch an event, you're going to get the winner of the event or second, third place on the broadcast interviewed about the event. I wanted to kind of tell a little bit more stories about their background or their social media or their family or friends. So I was trying to ask more fun questions that I've noticed, things like just following the sport and following them. So I thought those were fun and they went well and just got some good interviews out of them. And someone asked about my bench. You don't want to know my bench. You want to know Cait's bench, not mine. Strength is not my strength. Ask me about my gymnastics. Ask Cait about her weightlifting.
Me and Maysa would be a perfect team on a competition because she's so good at gymnastics and mine trap. Like, you don't want me to do any gymnastics, but I am really strong. Where, we can kind of help each other shine in both areas. So my bench is 180 as of last week. So not that impressive, but it's something.
Yeah, I'm not going to share my bench. I'm also a small human, but I do what I can. But yeah, WFP was cool in a lot of ways because I feel like obviously me and Cait Matt hit it off, have been talking nonstop since. I think it was a really cool intro into the interview side of media I'd only ever written. And I think that was so fun. I actually really enjoyed it. And I've run social media before for businesses. It's something I do. I've worked in marketing. So it was kind of a bit of that too. So I feel like it got to combine a lot of things I like. And we will be back for Arizona doing more one question interviews.
I'm going to pin this last comment if we maybe want to talk about the conversation we had yesterday on the phone.
Which comment? Sorry, I need to scroll. Oh, yeah. Pin it. Go ahead.
So talking about the WFP concept, because we've talked about WFP a lot, Maysa and I actually had a conversation yesterday on the phone kind of about like what the direction of we wanted to go with this.
Here we go.
I want this to be a podcast for everybody. As we know, like, it seems like we're very separated right now as a community. And I am very much like on the fence and in the middle. And I want this podcast to be open to both sides, if you will. We've obviously worked for WFP. support WFP, but I love CrossFit. I want CrossFit to survive. And if there is a world that we can make both parties happy for everybody, I think that is like the best case. Do I have the answers to that? Absolutely not. But I am very much on the fence, and I called her yesterday and I was like, I just want to make sure that we try not to lean on one side or the other, because we are in not a predicament necessarily, but like, we're going to talk about WFP because we do work for them and we do see really good things that they're doing as well. So just kind of want to lay that out there, is that like, we're trying to be not necessarily neutral. We're going to have hot takes for both sides, I'm sure. But we can see pros and cons of both sides, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, like, regardless of how far on either side you are, we know that there's issues, that the community is fractured, that there's things CrossFit needs to change. We will have hot takes. Just wait till the end of the episode. People are so want to know. They're coming. We're going to do hot takes every week, actually. As far as the WFP concept, I really do like it because I'm a big sports fan. I love NFL. I worked for college football when I was in, when I went to NC State for undergrad. I follow March Madness. Like, I think that was not an airplane. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Maybe it was an airplane. I think it was a storm. I think that CrossFit in the past has been a difficult sport to follow. If you are coming in from the outside, it changes too frequently and it's confusing. Like, look at our last season. Everyone knows that. That's not some hot take. It's confusing. So I do like the idea of professionalizing it in a way that makes it a sport people can watch, because I love watching sports. Like, football is so fun. And I think sports can change lives, and that's a whole other conversation we could have at some point. I'm a physical therapist and I truly believe in movement, and that's a whole soapbox, and sports teaching so many things. And I think that the WFP is making a season, and that's fun. Like, as a spectator, a whole season is fun. We want to see the athletes we love compete. It's good for sponsors, it's good for media, it's good, like, the more the better, right? It's going to have more opportunities for everyone. And I had a great experience there. There's definitely things that they need to work on that we're happy to talk about. I think there's a lot of things on both sides, like you said. You work at an affiliate, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So Cait works at a CrossFit affiliate. I'm opening a gym in 9 days that is going to be a WFP initiative, which is essentially an affiliate. And I've grown up in CrossFit gyms. So I love promoting movement in the community, but no, I'm not. I'm paying to be a WFP initiative because I just enjoyed my experience. I met really cool people. And I think we talked about this when we were there. We felt just like so at ease. It was just a lot of fun. The vibes were good. There was a lot of joy. I think that I just felt like more comfortable than I've been in a lot of situations. And I love that feeling. And I think anyone that's promoting movement is something I want to be a part of.
And at the end of the day, like, the way I feel about it is, if there's multiple choices for athletes, they get to choose what they want to do. If they don't want to do the games, that's fine. If you don't want to do WFit, like, it's their choice. Or if they want to do both, cool. Like, nobody's forcing them, that I know of at least, to do either or. And I think it's
there
cool
was a football league before the NFL. Like, so, I mean, there's always been evolutions of competition. So this is normal. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. We're at a time where, like, a lot of things are changing. And I think if nothing else, it's starting to raise the bar, which is cool.
Let me go back. Now, you guys are typing so much that I can't keep up.
Yeah, you got to star these comments. I've been trying to.
Somebody asked if we work for WFP or B.Friendly. Technically B.Friendly,
yes,
because we are under their media. We do not work for WFP. I actually just volunteered, and then Maysa was writing and interviewing for B.Friendly. So a little bit of both, I guess, but not necessarily working. We're not really hired, if that makes sense.
People are trying to play ugly hot in the comments, and I'm trying hard not to engage because we said we wouldn't do this, but they might break us eventually.
I opened up a can of worms.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Is it time for hot takes.
Yeah, you can start us off.
No, I thought you were gonna start.
Oh, you want me to start? You want me to
Yeah.
say my hot take?
Yeah, I want you to say your hot take.
Great, I'll go first.
What is your pilot episode hot take, Cait?
My hot take is that we have already been blocked by somebody.
Dum
We're
dum
just
dum.
innocent bystanders.
We hadn't even done our first episode when we got the block.
Guys, I was in the comments of some posts about NorCal Classic, and I was really confused why I couldn't see Taylor Self's comments. And I thought at first maybe he deleted them. And then the second post happened and it was happening again. And we have been blocked by Taylor Self. And I don't, it is what it is, but I don't even know the guy. I never met him. Like I said, we are literally nobodies in the space.
But we're somebody's enough to be blocked. So I kind of love this for us because it's like there was a fear about what we would talk about before we even opened our mouths.
Yeah, you guys we both pinned it at the same time. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I don't know why, but maybe there's like a wrath that comes with being two girls on a podcast that people are nervous about, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I don't know him. I don't think Maysa knows him either. Never met him.
Not in real life, no.
Don't know why he felt the need to block just two girls trying to yap about CrossFit, but that's the tea from me.
I love it. This is the best. I can't even say a good hot take after that because that was just hilarious. I love how Cait literally texts me and goes, "Can you see Taylor Self?"
No, I called her. I said,
"Oh yeah, called me."
And I was right now.
Yeah. Why? And you're like, "Oh, he blocked because he blocked the podcast, and you created the podcast Instagram." Yeah. All right. But yes, my hot take is kind of about that whole crew that ran the podcast. Sorry, I'm trying my best to like block out the comments when I'm speaking. That ran the broadcast and kind of the commentary that has come since. I think Taylor Self, who it may be, that whole crew of people that ran NorCal Classic and Syndicate Crown are very good at dishing it with really foul and crass and angry and directed language, but they are very bad at getting a taste of their own medicine, even when it's constructive and not dished out in the same way. And I think there was a large consensus that people thought it was more of a podcast than a broadcast. I'll say it that way. And I think they threw fits about it. And I commented on that and got some hate for that. But hot take is that I think they're much better at giving it than they are at taking it.
I'm going to pin this here. And somebody asked way at the beginning of this, what podcasts that we listen to. I listen to all of them.
Me too.
I think there's good and bad in all of them. I look at it as, everybody talks about professionalizing the sport. And if my parents are watching this now, if my parents were watching it, they'd be like, oh, well, what was that? Or grandma, and like, if you turn on ESPN, that's just not what you're going to hear on ESPN. And I know like we're all learning because none of us have done this before, right? Like this is all new for everybody. But I think for outsiders who maybe aren't familiarized with what the media looks like right now, and that might be your first watch, you might be a little turned off by CrossFit in general. Again, it's supposed to be a hot take because that's what it is.
Yeah. And I think if you're trying to be professional,
agreed.
Welcome. I think if you're trying to be professional in any situation, like take CrossFit out of the, conversation, you look at industry norms, and then obviously you can go against the grain, you can build on that. But I would say ESPN, NFL, NBA, all of those things are things we should be looking at, right? And it wasn't taking what they're doing and making it bigger, better, anything. It was a complete opposite to me. And I think we got to look at just plain blank. You look at standard best practice, and that was just not it.
I agree. You guys wanted a hot take, and that's what it is. And I think me and Mesa can both agree that you don't have, like, we can agree to disagree, and that's like where the space is at right now. And
imagine that. Imagine we could just be civil about that. How crazy.
It can be good and bad. So I don't make the rules, and my opinion really doesn't matter. So that's the beauty of having your own podcast, is you can say what you want. So.
Because there was so many comments about hot, ugly, ugly, hot, I do think we should address our little poll we made on Instagram before we finish off. This wasn't really it was just a hot or not. We made it a little, do you want to pull this up?
Yeah. And I think hopefully I didn't word it correctly. I don't think, because I didn't want people to think that. Anyway, let me just pull it up. We did a poll on
pause.
our
We got to use the boys interrupted pause because I said inappropriate things unintentionally.
So we did a poll on if we love Jason Hopper's blonde hair or not.
Hot or not.
Hot or not. And the people decided 67% said hot. So I guess everybody likes the blonde hair. I'm kind of digging it too. I'm not going to lie.
I am just digging his commitment to building his brand and social media with like no shame, and it's freaking awesome. It's hilarious. Like, you can't watch that and not feel like you're in 5th grade dancing to NSYNC. It's amazing. And like, he's in the forest. Like, what is he doing? Who filmed this? His wife? That's got to be hilarious. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
He's definitely
the blonde is hot.
Everybody in the comments is saying not hot, but I love his commitment to. I think he's going to keep it through the games. That's what it sounds like. So
I think that tier should make this commercial for their clothing. Just Jason.
I love it.
With blonde hair.
I think it's really fun.
Before we wrap up,
yeah, go ahead.
Tell me about your week. Tell me anything new going on in your life.
Shout out to Rick Jones for filming that video.
Thanks for the video. Was not his wife, but I kind of like, in my mind, it was his wife laughing at him, and I just need to keep that. So,
I don't really have anything.
He hired a videographer for that. He took that seriously.
I'm sure he was there for other things.
No, he was there for NSYNC. That's it.
But yeah, nothing crazy coming up for me. And I guess a little less than a month, I'm going to be going to Europe. I'm flying to Austria. I actually met a girl she was just dropping in to my old gym, and we kind of hit it off, and she lives there. So flying to her and gonna bop around Europe. Otherwise, that's like the biggest thing. We'll be at WFP Tour SAP 2 in August. So I'm really just hanging out until then, and really excited for some upcoming trips. I need some good travel. What about you?
I'm literally building a gym, so
it's fair.
Oh,
hey, Taylor.
Welcome to the show.
That's what we figured, but that's fine. I appreciate you viewing. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Hiller, there will be more hot takes. You just got to stay tuned for next Thursday at 7 p.m. Yes, I'm building a gym, so my entire life right now is putting together equipment. That is all, as a girl who has never put together a dresser before in my life, I'm becoming very handy. I'm becoming husband material. I have a drill now. I have a knife. I have lots of things. But yeah, that is... If you are in Charleston, South Carolina, come to my grand opening. It is the 21st, 22nd at IBX Performance Training. I'm very excited, and hopefully we'll be doing some fun episodes with like cold plunges and different things, or we'll do hot takes in the cold plunge. But yeah, that is my entire existence. And yes, we will be in Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah, we'll do an episode there. We're going to be on every Thursday at 7 p.m. So we will definitely do an episode together. That'll actually be our first episode together. And I'm really excited for that.
And shout out to Tega, who's in the chat. He's going to get some photos of us in the box office. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's a lot of things upcoming this week, or this past, what's it been? 3 weeks since we've been talking about this. It did happen very quickly, but Maysa's been trying to help with this and open her own gym. So it's been a little crazy. So I'm sure she's excited to get that done so she can just kind of live a little and enjoy. So.
And convince Cait to move to Charleston.
Yes. Yes.
But anyways, like, subscribe, do the thing, comment things you want to see, what you want our hot takes to be on. I can't promise we'll listen because they come from, whatever's happening that week. But yeah, welcome to In the Box Office.
Yeah, just want to give a really quick shout out to, of course, B.Friendly and specifically Brian and PC. I'm speaking for myself, but this is a dream for me. I never thought I'd have even remotely a voice in the CrossFit world, and to be able to have some of the experiences I've had because of them and be able to do this podcast is really great. So we're really fortunate to have them as friends and excited for what's to come. So shout out to them. You guys are the best if you're watching.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, guys. If you have anything that you want to hear or talk about, let us know. Leave us a comment. Follow us on Instagram at In the Box Office. And then we'll be back next Thursday at 7 p.m. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.